Chapter 13. If I Can't Love Her. Rubbing his grumbling stomach, the young Chomper walked alone in the mysterious beyond. All the while he thought back, remembering good times. His friends, the great valley. Ruby. There was Ruby. She was kind to him, saved his very life. He wished he could have seen her one last time, her smiling face, hear her voice. It was then he realized he cared for her, maybe as more than a friend. But that was silly. A Sharptooth, liking a fast runner. What an absurd thing, he fancying her. What was even sillier was the very idea that perhaps, even if it seemed impossible, that she liked him as more than a friend too. There was no way of ever knowing, no way he'd be allowed to enter the Great Valley again. His friends, Ruby, everything seemed to be behind him, his life, identity, his heart. Ruby, reliable Ruby, how her name sounded like a song, one he'd never be able to forget. Why, if he shut his eyes and took a breath, he swore he could see her, smell her scent, take her in. Sadly, he opened his eyes to find he was all alone. No one, not a single friend. With a long sigh, he took a breath to hum a tune. And in my twisted face, there's not the slightest trace of anything that even hints at kindness. And from my tortured shape, no comfort, no escape. I see, but deep within is utter blindness, hopeless as my dream dies, as the time flies. Love, a lost illusion, helpless, unforgiven, cold and driven to this sad conclusion. No beauty could move me, no goodness improve me, no power on earth if I can't love her. No passion could reach me, no lesson could teach me how I could have loved her and make her love me too. If I can't love her, then who? Long ago I should have seen all the things I could have been. Careless and unthinking, I moved onward. No pain could be deeper, no life could be cheaper, no point anymore if I can't love her. No spirit could win me, no hope left within me. Hope I could have loved her and that she'd set me free. But it's not to be if I can't love her. Let the world be done with me if I can love her. If I can't love her, if I can't love her. Chomper found himself standing on a rather steep ledge, gazing down to a jagged ground. For a moment he stood, gazing down while his heart pounded, eyes welling with tears. There was a voice, a haunting one, that told him to take a step. If he did that, all his pain, all his suffering would end. Foot rising, it hovered above nothingness. The drop below would be painful, not end quickly. Snapping himself out of the dark voice, he threw himself back and fell onto his back, letting out a soft sob, trying to get his breath. "What was I thinking?" he asked aloud, rocking and holding himself in a ball. "Oh, Ruby, I don't know what to do. Where do I go from here?" He spent the night by the ledge, waking when he felt the warmth of the bright circle shine upon him. Hungry, he forced himself up to forage in the mysterious beyond, traveling for a while, finding he grew dizzy from lack of food. He was drawn from his stupor when a voice called out, yelling in pain. Going to the voice, he found a clubtail who broke his leg and was unable to continue on. Rushing to help, the clubtail growled when he saw Chomper approach. "Back off! I'm not dead yet!" "I'm not here to hurt you. Let me help you up." Chomper backed off, not wanting to get struck by the tail that swung back and forth. "You can talk?" "Indeed. Allow me to assist you. The Great Valley is close by. With my help, you can get there and be safe." "Why would you do that? Aren't you going to eat me?" "No, I don't eat leaf eaters," Chomper said, trying his best to ignore his stomach. Skeptical, the clubtail thought it over. "If I were to say yes, you sure you won't kill me?" "I promise, I won't. Let me get you to safety." With a nod, Chomper went to see what he could do. Blood dripping from the flesh wound, not to mention a bit of bone stuck out. "Maybe I could tie a stick to your leg, try to mend it." "Whatever, kid." Chomper wasn't one to handle injuries, Ruby knowing more than himself. Still, he did what he thought was best. Retrieving a set of thick limbs, he tied a vine to the hurt leg. When he thought it was good, the clubtail went to walk, dragging it slightly, but was able to go. Chomper and the clubtail walked in silence till Chomper spoke. "You have a name, sir?" "Mine is Chomper." "I'm Kyle." "Well, Mr. Kyle, how did you break your leg?" "Oh, I slipped and hurt it. Don't get old, kid." "I'll do my best, Mr. Kyle." "So, how do you know about the Great Valley? I didn't think Sharptooth were allowed near the valley." "I lived there, sir, before they ordered me to leave. I don't blame them. I'm a monster in their eyes." Looking to his taloned fingers, Chomper wished he were born a leaf eater. "That's all anyone will ever see in me." "Well, would a monster help an old fool like me? Listen, if we reach this great valley, I'll speak on your behalf. Why, they'll have no choice but to let you back in." "That'd be wonderful. Then I could tell Ruby how I feel." Stopping short, Chomper flushed. "Well, what I mean is, it'll be nice to see my friends." "Ruby? Who is this girl who caught your eye?" "It'd never work. She's a fast runner, a leaf eater." "So, there are interspecies couples out there." "Not like us." "Maybe not, but there's a first for everything. Listen, life's too short to hold back love." "Love? Well, I don't know about that." "Regardless, you need to tell her how you feel." "I'll do my best," Chomper replied, rubbing his claws nervously. They walked slowly, having to stop and rest. While Kyle slept, Chomper was concerned, for the wound wept a strange kind of blood, unlike any Chomper had ever seen. It was white, gooey, smelling horrible, and running down Kyle's skin. He didn't want to say, but by the scent, he got the feeling Kyle had limited time to live. Kyle opened his eyes, taking slower breaths. "Say, kid, how's the cut look?" It could be better. If that were any sweeter, I think my teeth would hurt. Kyle sweat, turning pale. I never thought I'd say this to a Sharptooth, ever. But could you do me a favor, kid, and take me out? I'm tired. I can't go on, and I'm in pain. I can get you help. There has to be a way. You mean well, kid. The kindest Sharptooth I've ever met. I'm asking you, begging you to do this for me. I don't want to die slowly. I want it to be over. Now. Besides, you must be hungry. No, I'm not. Honest. Liar, you are. Take this chance. End me. Chomper felt conflicted, hating to kill, yet here Kyle was, wanting to end his suffering. Slowly, Chomper went to where Kyle lay, knowing if he bit Kyle's neck, he could finish him off quickly. What are you waiting for? Do it. Kyle spoke weakly, shutting his eyes and accepting his end. A Sharptooth bite is powerful. Use your gift for good. End the suffering of mine. I'm sorry, friend, Chomper whispered with tears in his eyes. Opening his jaw, Chomper bit down with a powerful bite, cutting off Kyle's air supply. In moments, Kyle's eyes grew dull and lifeless, leaving Chomper alone again. Yet he was able to eat, taste blood, flesh for the first time in years, since he was a kid, and his parents brought food back to him. Getting his fill, Chomper was able to quench his aching tummy. But at what cost? Leaving only bones where Kyle once lay. Going to a river to wash, he stared at his reflection for a good while. Blood covered his muzzle. From where he stood, he saw only a killer, a monster that the valley's residents feared him to be. One question haunts and hurts, too much to mention. Was I really seeking good, or just seeking attention? Is that all good deeds are when looked at with an ice cold eye? If that's all good deeds are, then maybe that's the reason why no good deed goes unpunished. All helpful urges should be circumvented. No good deed goes unpunished. Sure, I meant well, but look at what well meant did. All right, enough, so be it. So be it then. Let all the great valley agree. I'm wicked through and through, since I cannot succeed. Kyle, after helping you, I promise no good deed will I attempt to do again, ever again. No good deed will I do again. Fine. If he couldn't prove his kindness to them, he'd make himself be a real Sharptooth. He'd kill, hunt, and survive, which was easier said than done. For when he saw a family of plant-eaters, he simply dug his claws into the earth and saw only Ruby and her family. With a huff for his failed attempt, he turned and faded back into the woods. No matter how hard he tried, he could never bring himself to harm innocent leaf-eaters, settling on another way to live, one suited for his demeanor and soft heart.